So hello friends, today we'll be continuing the discussion on cardiac physiology. And in the last video, we have talked about the S1 heart sound, and we said that it has two components, that is mitral and tricuspid component. And we said that normally they are not varying, they are not changing during the respiratory cycle. That is, what is respiratory cycle? Means inspiration and expiration together make a respiratory cycle. Together make respiratory cycle. Inspiration plus expiration together make respiratory cycle. Okay, so we said we hear it when we use a stethoscope, we hear it as a one sound. A single sound is heard at the about this S1. Okay, now by the way, in which cases can an S1 sound be loud, accentuated? What things can increase the S1 out sound? So I'll give you an example. This representational, don't think that I'm making a perfect heart. Okay, so this here I have, the valves are like this. I don't want to make more beautiful diagram because no need to waste time. Okay, now see, if I take this valve here, if I take this out, now tell me one thing. If I want to close the valve from a near distance, now listen to me, look at me, everyone. See, you can't look at me, but you can listen. Okay, see, one sound, listen to one sound. See, if I keep my both hands nearby at a very less distance, what will happen? But if I come from a far distance, okay, if we come from a far distance, then if we come from a near distance, it will also depend on the intensity. But yeah, if we are more on a near distance, then sound will not. Even if you increase the stroke also, still the distance is very much less. So if distance between the two valve leaflets is very much less, that means they are at a more near distance. That means blood is making them remain more near. That means blood is more. That's why they are more near. Valves are floating in the blood, isn't it? They are floating. Should remember, they are floating in the blood column in the heart. Okay. Now, if you have so much blood column, I'm taking one chamber. So what will happen? This will keep these valves more nearer to each other, more nearer to each other, isn't it? No, isn't it, or is it not? So if I am more nearer, listen, if I am more nearer, the valves are near, see what will happen. Not so much loud sound. But if I keep them far apart, and then come from a far distance, that means the column is not so much. For example, I'm taking an example. So they are more far apart. So if they come from this area, they are here. What will happen? Once they have to cover a long distance, they will come, the sound will be more. The sound will be, is it clear? So accentuation, this is called accentuation. I give you one example. Okay. So accentuation is, this is accentuation. Okay. Is it clear? So if, now tell me one thing. When is the distance going to be, when is the distance going to be more? When they are far, when the blood column is not so much. So we say the accentuation of S1. Now, which valve should I be talking about? If I am talking about S1, which valve should I talking about? Which valve I should be talking about? AV valve, isn't it? I should be talking about AV valve. Okay. See, I have taken this diagram so that I can magnify for you. Okay. So I have taken S1. I have taken this valve, and I am telling you, I had a what to say, what example can I give? I have tachycardia. So in tachycardia or in high cardiac output, okay, so in that case, I have to fastly, send the blood to the organs. I have to send the blood to the organs very much faster. So that means the filling will not also be so much high. The filling will not also be so much high because the heart is decreasing the diastolic time. The heart is decreasing the diastolic time. The time that is needed for the filling will also decrease because you want more blood to reach the circulation. You want more blood to reach the circulation. Are we able to understand, guys? Are we able to understand? So, which conditions will you be having an accentuated S1? S1 will be accentuated. I will be telling you the reasons later. Please write down because we have to study it in detail. So S1 will be accentuated in which conditions? Number one, I will be teaching you the PR interval, okay? Shortened PR interval. Shortened PR interval. Second, high cardiac output states. High cardiac output states. Third, tachycardia. Fourth, mitral stenosis, but mild variety. Mild variety, mitral stenosis. Okay, this was for S1. Add this note to your yesterday's topic. Okay, now I go to the S2. I go to the S2. So S2 sound, who is producing the S2 sound? Aortic and pulmonic valves. These are the semilunar valves. So who is producing this sound? Aortic, pulmonic valve. Aortic, pulmonic valve. Okay. Both of these are called semilunar valve. Semilunar valve. Okay. Now tell me one thing. Who produces the sound? Closure produces the sound or opening produces the sound? Closure of the valves produce the sound or opening? Closure produces the sound. You should write fast because there is no much time. We will think like the child guy. You have to think faster. Okay. In the hospital, we don't have time to ask like this or even 1 second. You should directly reply, sir, closure, C, something like that. Okay. Because it's such an easy concept that it does not need even a time to spend, isn't it? So it closes. Closure produces sound. When will the AV valve close? Going back, when will the AV valve close? When will the AV valve close? Systole or diastole? Your answer should be in that. Systole. Very nice. Now, this was the pulmonic valve. This is the pulmonic valve. This is the aortic valve. This is the pulmonic valve. This is the aortic valve. Pulmonic valve from the right ventricle. Aortic valve from the left ventricle. Now, when should this valve close? What is the function of these valves? It should not allow the backflow of blood. It should not allow the backflow of blood, isn't it? We make like this. It should not allow the backflow of blood. That means whatever blood has gone, it should not let it come back. It should not let it come back. It should not let it come back. So should the valve close? Yes, sir, valve should close. When will the valve close? That means the valve should close in systole or diastole. In this case, diastole, early diastole. Why? Because in the early diastole, the blood will try to come back and I have to close the valve. That means S1 sound is produced in systole, true or false? S2 sound is produced in early diastole. S1 sound is produced in early systole. S1 early systole. S2 early diastole. Early systole, tricuspid mitral closure, and diastole aortic pulmonic closure. Is it clear, guys? Fine. So they will be asking you who is going to close this, who is closing these valves actually. Okay. Now see what is happening. Now, if I take an example, this is a left ventricle, this is a right ventricle. Okay. This is a left ventricle, this is a right ventricle. I take for our study sake, I take this gate, I take these gates, I take this aorta, and I take this left ventricle. This is aorta. Now listen, friends. When does the thing flow? Hemodynamics. When does the thing flow? When we have a pressure difference. When we have a pressure difference. Simple concept is conceptual. When I have a pressure difference, things will flow. When I have equal pressure, nothing will happen. Means if I have equal low pressure, nothing will happen. If I have equal high pressure, nothing will happen. True or false? If I have everything same, nothing will happen. No flow will happen. Listen. That means when should be the tendency of the blood to backflow in the aorta? Should it be that the aortic pressure has increased and relaxing ventricles have decreased the pressure? Shouldn't it be like that, pressure gradient? So should I say it is because of the diastolic pressure in the aorta and in the pulmonary artery which have became greater than, which have exceeded the pressures which are present in the relaxing ventricle? This concept leads to the closure of semilunar valves. True or false? See, there is no concept, nothing is there to cry, isn't it? So who is causing, if they ask you, who is causing the closure of the semilunar valves? It is the diastolic pressure in the aortic and pulmonic valve, aortic and pulmonary vessels, aorta and pulmonary artery, which are causing, the pressure is exceeding the pressure which is present in the relaxing ventricles, because the relaxing ventricles don't have no pressure. You said, sir, early diastole, that means the ventricle should be relaxing. That means they should be relaxing when you are ejecting the blood. That means in the early phase of the diastole. We have diastole early, mid, late. I will be teaching you early, mid, late. Like that, we have systole, early systole, mid systole, late systole. Like that. So in the early phases of diastole means when the ventricle is just relaxing, trying to relax, the pressure is going to be getting minus. The pressure in the, it's something sort of a suction pressure. Now pressure will start going more towards the negative pressure. I'm not saying it is negative. I'm saying it will come down. And the pressure in the aorta is more, comparatively more than the relaxing ventricles. You have to stop your brain and think in minute time frame. You don't have to think, oh, it is going fast and fast, nothing. You have to break these cycles into small milliseconds. Then you can understand it. Otherwise, you won't understand it. You won't understand it. Okay. Now, what is the heart sound produced by the closure? It is S2. That means S2 is having two components again: aortic component, pulmonic component. Aortic component, pulmonic component. Aortic component is written like A2. Pulmonic component is written P2. So I will say S2 sound. This S2 sound. This S1 was having what? T1, M1. This S2 will be having A2, isn't it? Because 2 is the second heart sound, and P2. Is it clear? I don't know why they are making this difficult and why they have difficulty questions on this. A2 and P2. But normally, remember, was this varying? Was T1, M1 varying with normally with respiratory cycle? No, sir. Sir, if it varies, then it should be an abnormality. It should be an abnormality if it is varying. But sir, A2, P2 is varying in a normal person. It varies with respiration. Varies with respiration, guys. It varies with respiratory cycle. So they should change during the inspiration and they should change during the expiration. Now, during inspiration, what is happening is, now tell me one thing. Just you do that experiment, even if you haven't learned the lung physiology. Just look at yourself. Breathe, inspire. You are expanding the chest wall, isn't it? Are you expanding the chest wall? Is your thorax rising? Is your thorax? If you can't see, then you can put your hands on your chest. Okay, see, I'm doing it. So the thorax is expanding. Now tell me, are you increasing the pressure in the thorax or decreasing? Are you increasing the pressure in the thorax or decreasing? Or decreasing the pressure? Pressure will increase only when you compress the chest. Pressure in the chest will increase when you compress the chest. But you are decreasing because you are filling it. You are actually giving more space. You are giving more space. So see, you are giving more space to the air. So if it increases, then how will your lungs fill? Your lungs will not be filled. Your lungs will not fill. Okay, my sound will increase in a minute. Okay, it's like slowly getting, teaching so many batches at the same time happens. Okay, so it will increase slowly. Okay, I'm sorry if my sound is low because of throat, not because of energy. So what will happen is, during the course of inspiration, the intrathoracic pressure should decrease because I am expanding the chest. My lungs are suction balloons. My lungs are suction balloons, isn't it? They create a negative pressure and they suck the atmospheric air because my atmospheric air is zero. I will teach you in respiratory physiology. My respiratory atmospheric pressure, I am treating it as zero, isn't it? That's why we are taking intrapleural pressure as negative. Why we are taking intrapleural pressure? What is intrapleural pressure? The pressure between the two layers of the lungs. These are the pleural layers of the lungs, and they said they have pressure difference. Okay, so they said it is in -10 or it is in -3 mmHg, apex and the base. Now, things, if you have to bring the things inside, that means when you have to drink a mango shake in your university, what you do is you put this straw inside and you suck. You create a suction pressure. You create a suction pressure. Once you create a suction pressure, what will happen? Fluid column will start rising and reaching to your oral cavity. Same, I should also do the same thing. My lungs should behave like a straw so that they can create a negative pressure. They should create a negative pressure. You are here creating a negative pressure, isn't it? So you are bringing the things inside. Once you are bringing the things in, that means your pressure should decrease. Your pressure in the thorax should decrease so that it can expand. So that it can expand, guys. I think it's common sense. It does not need any physics or some scientist guy to come. If you will be increasing the pressure, how will you fill the lungs? It's not making any sense. Okay, so you have to, intrathoracic pressure will decrease. Once your intrathoracic pressure decreases, once your intrathoracic pressure decreases, will you be putting more pressure on the pulmonary artery or less? Will you be having more back pressure or less back pressure? Will be having decreased pulmonary artery pressure. Your pulmonary artery pressure will decrease. Very nice. Your pulmonary artery pressure should decrease. Once it decreases, that means the things will try to come back. The things will try to come back. Means, I will be telling you, you see, I will be making a small generalization for you. Okay, we will be going through the phases, then you can understand what I mean. Inspiration, do inspiration. Intrathoracic pressure decrease. Intrathoracic pressure decrease. Fine. If my pressure decreases, will I be having more filling of the lungs or less filling? Will my venous return increase or decrease? Should the more blood return to me or less blood if I am decreasing the pressure? Where are the second year, third year students? Why they are not replying? Are they feeling shy that it is a first year concept and we can't? Or it is something that they have finished? So why don't you answer? Now, is there any doubt for anyone that the pressure decreases and you should be increasing the venous return? Should not be any doubt, sir. You have decreased the pressure. Why will now comparative pressure decreases? Comparatively, there will be less pressure. Whatever is present in the venous, it will be less in the heart. Okay, so what will happen is you will be increasing this, and you will be also, please remember, you will be decreasing the pulmonary artery pressure. Okay, okay, so that will lead to the, now you are filling the heart with the blood, and you have to send that more blood to the lungs also. So do you want to close the pulmonic valve which is present in the right side of the heart early or late? Where is that heart diagram yesterday's? Where is the yesterday's heart diagram? See guys, this is so easy concept and logical. You decrease the pressure. Now if I had pressure, what will happen? If I had a pressure, I could have compressed these vessels. But if I am releasing the pressure, I am expanding the chest wall. What it is creating a suction sort of a thing. It's creating a suction. Whatever you are sucking from the nose, something think like that, the blood is also sucked into the chest. Okay. Now tell me, are you increasing the venous return or not? Are you increasing more blood flow or not? Are you increasing more blood flow to the right ventricle? Are you increasing more blood flow to the pulmonary vasculature? Are you increasing more blood flow to the lungs? Yes, sir. You are increasing more blood flow to the lungs. That means should the valve close early or late? Pulmonic valve, not aortic. I am saying pulmonic valve. Should I close the pulmonic valve early or late? I should close it delayed. So will it give me a split? Aortic will close at it one time, its own time, and pulmonic will close in its late time. Will it give me a significant split? Will they split? Will they show me split? If you don't understand this mechanism, you have no right to use a stat. No right to use a stat. Stat can only be used once you know splits, once you know paradoxical splitting, galloping. That's why I'm spending so much time on this, to make you clear. Okay, again I will say. During inspiration, my intrathoracic pressure decreases. That decreases the pulmonary artery pressure. That decreases the back pressure. That causes the pulmonic valve closure. Finally, the delayed closure of the pulmonic valve will produce an S2. Okay, but I want to tell you one thing. Even if you increase the preload, okay, there are so many books. Ganong is writing also what I comprehended from Ganon or Ganong or Guyton. So what I mean, what I will generalize for you is what I understood from all these books is, even if you are increasing the preload, normally you think, yes sir, if I was telling you that, isn't it? So I want to tell you now the fact, if I increase the preload, it has been seen that aortic valve closes. It has been seen. There is no reason. Don't tell me, sir, where is the reason? It has been seen. Okay. See, normally this should happen, but it has been seen that aortic valve is closing earlier during inspiration. What I said? I said delayed closure of pulmonic valve is happening in the first beginning. Now I am telling you, it has been seen. Even if you increase the preload, what is preload? Preload means venous return. So venous return means more blood coming, means more blood coming to the right atrium, means more blood coming to the right ventricle, means more blood going to the pulmonary system, means more time to empty the blood into the lungs, means valve should close late. But I am telling you, it has been seen that aortic valve closes earlier during inspiration. Is it clear? What is the normal mechanism? Delayed closure of pulmonic valve happens once you are inspiring. Once you are inspiring, mechanism is this, but they have seen, okay? They have seen that this happens. Is it clear? Now listen to me. You are clear with this concept. You have understood this concept very nicely. Now listen to me. Where can we appreciate S1 in the last video? Where can we appreciate that best? Which area could you appreciate that best? Which area? Apex. Very nice. Loudest at the apex. S2 can be heard with auscultation in the second or third. I want to write in the second or third. In the second or third, I can visualize I can visualize it here only. Aortic and this. I can listen to this in the second intercostal space or third intercostal space. Second intercostal space or third ICS. Intercostal space means the space which is present between the ribs. Okay. Now listen to me. I will be showing you that also, but you should have first a concept. Okay. Now S2 is understood. Now when is the normally? Now tell me one thing. But now tell me one thing. When is the S2 closure happening? When is the S2 splitting occurring? Inspiration or expiration? Inspiration. Okay, this is concept. Inspiration. So normally in you and me, if I tell you, please breathe, when your doctor says, please breathe, so he tells you breathe in. Okay, inspire, you do. What he should listen? What he should listen in the second and third intercostal space. I love this cardiology. It's a beautiful concept. What should I listen? No, no, guys, you should say splitting. Split, very nice, Zahib. You should say split. Yes, delay also, very nice. I can understand what you think. Very nice. You have to say split. That is the concept. Sound is normally you can hear. I will give you a stethoscope. Listen. Okay, I will close the mouth. Okay. You can also listen. Do you mean that it's not that the lung is not functioning? No, the blood is not being ejected into pulmonary vasculature. It's not like that. I'm telling you a specific thing, splitting. Now, normally when is the splitting happening? Inspiration. If this splitting happens in expiration and disappears in inspiration, it's called reversed splitting or paradoxical splitting. That's a disease. That's where I want to catch you. A beautiful cardiology, I love it. I don't know, I love medicine. Now see, normally when do you see a split? You should write S2 split normally seen on inspiration. But abnormally, what will happen? S2 will be heard on expiration, and once you tell the patient to inspire, what will happen? It will disappear. It will disappear. The split will not be there. The split will disappear in expiration. Okay. Now, what did you see? What did you see in the how we wrote the sequence? How we wrote the sequence? Aortic valve. Now tell me one thing, guys. I want to make it clear today. If we draw this line on a chart like this, okay, we represent it like this. Now, why it's not writing? Now this is your aortic component and this is your pulmonic component. This is your aortic component, this is your pulmonic component. What these two make? What these two make? Dash. These two make dash. These two make S2 sound. These two make S2 sound. Now, are you able to appreciate? I wrote A2 first and P2 in the after it. Can we appreciate? I built A2 after the pillar. After A2 pillar, I built P2 pillar. And do you know why? You know the reason. Because A2 closes earlier than P2. Earlier than P2. Now, if I tell you to reverse this, how we will reverse? You will put P2 in front and A2 after it. Now, what will you call this condition? Which of the following is normal? Is it 1 or 2? Roman 1 or Roman? Very nice. Roman 1 is normal because, sir, normally A2 closes earlier than P2. What is abnormal, sir? What should I call this condition as? What should I call the condition 2 as? What should I call the condition 2 as? Beautiful answer. Paradoxical splitting. Paradoxical splitting. Akka. Akka. What is Akka? Also known as Akka. Akka. But Akka means reversed splitting. Reversed. It got reversed. Is there any doubt? So how will you explain this? Normally, you will say like this. Listen, you will say, normally, A2 valve is closing before the P2. A2 valve closes before the P2. But in case of paradoxical or reversed splitting, what will happen is, S2 splitting occurs with expiration. So you should write, it should happen with expiration. It happens with expiration. Normally what happens to us in inspiration, I had splitting, but what happens to this patient? Expiration, there is splitting, and when I tell him to inspire, I can't see the split, disappears, it disappears. And what also happens, can I see from the chart, is the pulmonic valve is closing more earlier than A2. Okay, so I will be teaching you in the cardiology, the most common cause of paradoxical splitting is left bundle branch block. I'll be teaching you that. Okay, so the most common cause of this is LBBB, left bundle, that we will be learning in the heart conduction system. Okay, left bundle branch block. I could have taught you in the beginning, but there is a reason why I took the sounds first. Okay, there is a reason. Otherwise, I could have. Everyone starts with teaching you the Vegas and everything. Okay, but I have my own way of learning. Okay, this way it becomes easy for you to understand. Okay, now P2A2 is happening in the left bundle branch block. Now guys, what is the basic reason for this LBB? I want to tell you, okay, a little bit. Now, if you have this ventricular myocardium, if I take a ventricular myocardium, this is a ventricular myocardium, okay. Now, ventricular myocardium has a conduction system, bundle of hairs, Purkinje, okay. I will be teaching you that. I want to tell here, if you are not able to send the signals to this area, if you are not able to send the signals to this region, left side, see, when there is one concept which you first year people I haven't taught. Once you have current, your heart will contract. This is first concept. If you have current coming to a region, depolarization happening, I have taught you by the way muscles, so I can speak in the physiological language. If you have the depolarization of the left ventricle, you will say left ventricle will contract. If you have depolarization of right ventricle, you will say right ventricle will contract. If you have depolarization of both chambers, right and left ventricle, you will say ventricular myocardial contractility is happening, total. Now tell me one thing, if ventricular depolarization is not happening, if for example left ventricular depolarization is not happening, will my left ventricle be able to contract? No. Will my left ventricle be able to eject blood? No. Will my left ventricle be able to give me an appropriate contraction? A significant contraction which is required? No. Will my left ventricular contraction delay? Beautiful answer. Will my aortic valve close late? Will it delay the closure in the aortic valve? That's a beautiful. Now can you understand why there is P2 is coming first and A2 is coming last? Who feels it is difficult? Okay, so best example I gave you is the left bundle branch block. Now I tell you one thing. Will that same thing happen, because I can't use that concept, will that same thing happen in the right BB, that the pulmonic valve will close late, that the pulmonic will be late? So that means I have to have a nice clinical orientation when I am auscultating a patient. Because normally you have a right is normal, you have A2 P2, you have A2 P2, this is normal way you are writing, A2 P2 is normal, but that normal should not be hiding something else. That is where a clinician's judgment and eye comes. Are we clear? Are you understanding what I mean, guys? Are we talking in the same way? Are we understanding in the same way as is being to be understood? Okay, now listen to me, guys. What was the example for pulse pressure getting increased? Hyperthyroidism. What was the problem for pulse pressure getting increased? Aortic regurgitation. What was the reason for the pulse pressure getting decreased? Aortic stenosis. Isn't it? We have learned everything in the past videos. You have to refer to that videos if you haven't come. Now tell me one thing. Very nice. Tell me one thing. This was paradox. Now I take the third heart sound. Third heart sound is called ventricular gallop. So student, are you writing the notes or not? Should write the notes. Okay. Now the trend is changing. It's not a 90s trend now. Okay. Please write these notes. Okay. Keep writing it. So ventricular gallop means, when will you hear this first? We have to tell it. You will be hearing this in early to mid diastole. Now you have to think in the brain. Early diastole means the ventricle is relaxing, or mid diastole means, yeah, it is still in that relaxing state. That means in that relaxing state, is it going under rapid ventricular filling? Yes, it is undergoing under rapid ventricular filling, because I'm relaxing, so I'm having rapid ventricular filling, rapid ventricular filling. So which state will you hear this? During S3. S3 will be heard during rapid ventricular filling, rapid ventricular filling. Okay. Now I will be telling you, in some books you will be reading, either it is due to this, or they will tell you that chordae tendineae. Do we know chordae tendineae? Do we know chordae tendineae? Those cords which are actually holding these valves, which are not allowing to prolapse. Chordae tendineae. Chordae tendineae attached to the base, they are not allowing these to go back into the right atrium or left atrium. So they are actually acting as a threads. Okay, they are threads which are holding them. Okay, now they are telling that the reason for S3 to be listened is because of, some books are writing, because of tense chordae tendineae. So this we also have to remember. Okay, if you hear this in children, if you hear this in children, it's normal. If you hear this in children, it is normal. Second point, if you hear this in younger adults, if you hear this in younger adults, normal. But if you hear this sound in older adults, it is pathological. If you hear this in old adults, see, I am teaching this, I want to tell whoever is watching this video, I am teaching this at a physiology level. I am not teaching medicine or cardiology or cardiology medicine. Okay, I am teaching cardiovascular physiology. Okay, it's not wise to use a professional wording here. I could have told you greater than 45 years, greater than this, but that is not required right now. You only need to first understand what is sound. Okay, so that's why the video is exclusively for first year people, basic understanding. If anyone is feeling bored, I can't do anything, because I have to make them understand. You have already read, second, third year people, you should also learn, because you are not well versed with the basics. The moment I tell you what will happen in the tricuspid regurgitation, you speak something which is out of this world. You say me that sounds which I haven't also listened. Okay, so I have to go in basic detail here. It's physiology class. It is already actually meant for first year people. Okay, but if you are second, third year people want to join, you can. But it is basically meant for first year people, for basic understanding. That's why I'm going so basic. So if it is normal, if you hear this S3 sound in the children, it is normal. If you hear S3 sound in adults, young adults, normal. But if hear the sound in the older adults, it is abnormal. What does S3 show me? I want to give you a direct word: volume overloading of heart. Whenever anyone tells you, what is S3 telling us? It is telling us volume overloaded heart. It is telling us volume overloading of heart. Now tell me one thing. You will yourself speak. See, your first year people, you will yourself say. Now tell me one thing. I had this heart, okay? Don't go into more depth, okay? So this is heart. Normal function is to pump out and bring the things in. This is a normal heart. Now, if this heart is not able to bring in, I will say diastolic dysfunction. If this heart is not able to fill, I will say diastolic dysfunction, isn't it? If it is not able to eject, I will say systolic dysfunction. So easy. If it's not able to fill, diastolic dysfunction. If it's not able to eject, systolic dysfunction. Easy. Now, if my heart is not able to, if it has gone into congestive cardiac failure, CCF, congestive cardiac failure, will my heart get loaded with blood? It's not sending the blood out. Will it produce an S3? Will it produce an S3? Will it, when my heart is failing, it's getting overloaded, congestive cardiac failure? See, I gave you only one word and you are speaking all examples. This is the way we build impact on your brain. Okay. Teaching is to build an impact. Okay. It's not to mug up impact, what you can think. Okay. Second thing, can you tell me what was the normal way a left ventricle was functioning? It was closing what was closing? Mitral valve was closing so that it can send the blood in the aorta. Now, if this valve has some dysfunction, first year people, dysfunction, this has some dysfunction, it's not closing properly, will the fluid come back into the left atrium? Will the fluid come back during ejection? It had to send blood there, but since it's not able to close, will it come back into the left atrium? Is it causing the fluid to remain? Now what will happen once it is basically it will happen in advance of this disease. This is mitral regurgitation, what I'm telling you. So the regurgitation of blood into the left atrium from the mitral valve is called mitral regurgitation. Mitral regurg is happening. Now, any valvular disease, for example, this advanced mitral regurgitation, the blood which is regurgitated. Okay. Now tell me one thing. I had 100 ml of blood. 100 ml of blood. Out of this 100 ml, this valve is incompetent. What is happening is only 70 ml is leaving, for example, or only, I will give you an example, 150 ml of blood is here. Out of 150 ml, only 60 is leaving and 20 is going back here, and 60, 20, 80, and this was 150, that is 70. So 70 ml is remaining. That means this 20 is adding here. Now when the ventricle will start again relaxing, what will happen? You will be having a pulmonary vascular return, and plus this will add with this 20. This will add with this 20. So this is actually overloading the heart. Are we understanding, guys? So we have what we used to eject the blood from this side, but what happened? The valve should have been closed, but valve is not closed. What will happen? The blood will regurgitate. Now out of this 150 ml, I'm giving an example, 60 ml is ejected and 20 is going here due to the ventricular contraction. Now this 20 is remaining here. Now once another ventricular diastole will happen, when there is rapid filling of the ventricle, what will happen? This 20 will come again. This 20 will come again down, and from this amount also some will go back. That means you are overloading the heart. That means you are increasing the rate of ventricular filling during early diastole. That means you are actually going to produce an S3 sound. Is it clear, guys? So which patients will you get worried when you hear an S3? Which patients will you get worried when you hear an S3? Older patients. Okay, great. I really, you people are nice people, really. Okay, great people. I love you all. Okay, now I go to the S4. S4 is called atrial gallop. What was S3 called? Ventricular gallop. This is called atrial gallop. Okay. Listen to my words now. What does S3 show? What does the S3 show? Guys, what does the S3 show? It shows volume overloading. It shows volume overloading. You should not say this. I have taught you one word only. Volume overloading, not rapid. I did not teach rapid filling. I did not teach rapid filling. What I taught? Volume overloading. After that, this story will start. You have to say basic thing first. Then what happens in the long run, that you will be speaking later. But first, what is the word? Volume overloading. As for atrial is produced. Listen, listen, listen. If and first you will listen, then we write. That is the way to learn. If an atria is contracting, is systole, is doing systole against a stiff ventricle. Your ventricular myocardium is normally what? It is a very nice myocardium. It expands very nicely. It contracts very nicely. It expands very nicely. It contracts very nicely. But what is happening in atrial contraction? What is happening in stiff ventricle? Stiff means ventricle is not allowing to expand. Ventricle is not expanding. Can I say ventricle is not stretching? Can I say ventricle is non-compliant? Can I say atria is contracting against a non-compliant ventricle? Non-compliant ventricle means non-stretchable ventricle. Non-stretchable ventricle means stiffened ventricle. See how many words I'm using to make you understand. Is it clear? So S4 means atrial gallop. When your atria are contracting, see atria are contracting. Where is this? Atria are contracting against stiffened ventricle. Stiffened ventricle. That means a non-compliant ventricle. Non-compliant ventricle, guys. In clinical practice, where do we see this? Acute MI. Acute MI, acute myocardial infarction, we see this. Okay. You can hear it during that, or you can hear after that has happened. Okay. So what is S4 telling you? Ventricular compliance. What is S4 telling you? Ventricular compliance. That is, ventricle is not relaxing. So that means the ventricle has become more fatty guy. The ventricle has become more, he has increased its muscle. He has gone into hypertrophy. He has gone into hypertrophy. Or he is not receiving the blood. That's why he is not contracting. He wants energy. He's not getting anything. His myocardial ischemia is happening. Is it clear? So remember, every MI, any acute MI, you will listen this patient. So whenever I tell you, we are outside the hospital and I tell you, my juniors, my students, there we are waiting outside. Okay, think like this. We are waiting outside the hospital and we are waiting. We want we want to listen S4 sound. What? We want to listen S4 sound. You can think, visualize the in the brain. Imagination. I want to tell you, I am telling you, I want to listen an S4 heart sound. Now you will tell me, which patient should you be searching for? Which patient you should be searching for outside? Because definitely you will listen that S4. You will listen the sound in that. Acute MI. Acute MI. It's always present once you have an acute MI. Okay, fine. So once they tell you, I am checking someone's troponin and they say, oh, the patient was, you are outside and their relatives are saying, the doctor said it was an acute MI. What you will do? What you will do? You will say like this, Kidhar hai patient? Where is the patient? Isn't it? You will search like this, where is that? I have to listen to S4. I have to listen to S4. Is it clear? Is it clear, friends? Where, how you will, when it will become loud, I want to give a clinical also scenario. you will do what you will do once you go to that patient. Now you will say, okay, have you had an acute MI? Yes, you are with your group in the hospital. You had an acute MI? Yes, sir. I had an acute MI. Yes, doctor. So can you please, now you will be lying on the bed in the spine position. You will say, can you please turn yourself to the left side? So if this is the bed, so the person is lying like this, you will tell him to turn towards his left side. Okay, turn towards his left side. So that is called a lateral decubitus position. Lateral decubitus position. So in lateral decubitus position, you will be increasing the intensity of the sound will increase. It will become loud. It will become loud. Okay, and it is heard highest at the apex, loud at the apex, and it will become more loud. Loudest at the apex, and when you will be putting that patient, you have to put in the left lateral decubitus position. You have to put the patient in the left lateral decubitus position. Left lateral decubitus position. Is it clear? Is it clear? Okay. Should we talk of filling? Should we talk of splitting and then teach you how to auscultate? Direct auscultation. Yeah. Okay. So let us talk to you. Let us first get a revision of what we learned. Okay. Let us revise first what we learned, because we should know what we learned. See, if I tell you S1, S1, S1 is due to AV closure, you will be telling me true or false. AV closure. You can later on copy from video, from notes, from screenshot. It's easy to note. First is understanding. Your AV valves are closing. Or can I say it is the onset of ventricular systole? Onset of ventricular systole. Fine. S2 sound. Semilunar valve closure. Semilunar valve closure. Onset of ventricular diastole. Onset of ventricular diastole. Very nice. Third heart sound, volume overloading in ventricular diastole again. Can I say ventricular diastole? I will hear it. I hope you can think why. I hope you can think why ventricular diastole. Okay, so then you can say rapid filling. Okay, you can now say rapid filling. Rapid filling during ventricular diastole. It shows us dash, volume overloading. Concerned in which patient? Concerned in which patient? Second year, first year people. Concerned in which patient? Older patient. Older patient are concerned. Older patient are concerned. S4 means it will be heard. Will it be heard at the last when the rapid filling has finished in the ventricular diastole or early? It will be last, because when they finish everything, when they finish all the filling, in the end atria will contract against the ventricle. Atria will contract against this stiffened ventricle, isn't it? First year people, I want your answers, because I know the cardiovascular you get lost in the sounds. Okay, I hope you are understanding. Then I am moving forwards. So last rapid filling phase. Last rapid filling phase of what? Ventricular diastole. But who is producing it? Due to atrial contraction. Due to atrial contraction. Is it clear? Now, I want to tell you the frequencies. Okay, frequencies you don't have to remember. You just have to remember in such a way that who is high, who is low. Okay, now S1 sound has approximately a frequency of 25 to 45 hertz. It has a frequency of 25 to 45 hertz. S2 has a frequency of 50 hertz. Okay, S3 has, you can write low frequency. S3 has low frequency, and S4 has less than 20 hertz. Less than 20 hertz, the frequency. Okay, the frequency is like this. Now, who do you think will be more is having more frequency? It is S2 heart sound. S2 is having more frequency. Okay, at least you remember S2. I won't stress on anything. S2 you remember loud. Okay, S2 is frequency is high. Okay. Okay. Now see, what is the duration of these sounds? Now S1 is the duration is 0.15 second. S2 is 0.12 second. S3 is 0.0 second. Duration, okay? It's duration, time. Till what time you can hear it. It's 0.15 seconds, sir, 0.15 second. Oh my God. We can't count 1 second, isn't it? So yeah, 0.15 second, 0.12 second, 0.1 second, and 0.1 second. Okay. So S1 is, the duration is 0.15 second. S2, the duration is 0.12 second. S3, the duration is 0.1 second. And S4, the duration is 0.1 second. 0.1 second. Okay. Fine. Clear? Is there any doubt? Now listen to me. What did we say? What did we talk about the physiological splitting? What did we talk about the physiological splitting? In the physiological splitting, what did we say? Where is that? Yeah. This is a physiological splitting, isn't it? Isn't it a physiological splitting? What happens in physiological splitting? In physiological splitting, I had what happened. Make a flow chart like this. I want you to make a flow chart. What happens in physiological splitting? What happens in physiological splitting? See, what did I do? Inspiration. I did inspiration. What happened? I decreased the intrathoracic pressure. I decreased the intrathoracic pressure. That led to increased venous return, isn't it? That led to increased venous return. Will that lead to increased right ventricular filling? Increased right ventricular filling. Okay, you don't write first. You don't write. First listen. I will make the chart open for you. Inspiration, intrathoracic pressure decreased. Venous return will increase. Right ventricular filling will increase. Will I finally increase the output also? If I am filling the heart more, that means I will be throwing the blood also more. If I fill the heart with blood, I can eject now with the blood. If I had no filling, how can I increase the stroke volume? How can I increase the stroke volume? Isn't it? I don't think the people are understanding. There is no answer from the first year people. I think they are lost. It is so easy. Who is not understanding? Please raise your hand. Who is not understanding? That way I can understand. Okay, everyone is understanding. So right ventricular filling, you can listen to the video by the way. Why I'm stressing so much, isn't it? You can take the video back. Okay, let me move like that. So inspiration decreases the intrathoracic pressure, increases the venous return, increases the right ventricular filling, and this right ventricular filling will finally give me a increased right ventricular stroke volume. Stroke volume. This will give me a increased right ventricular stroke volume. Okay. Will it take more time for the right ventricle to eject? Will it take more time for the right ventricle to eject? Yes, sir. It will take more time for the right ventricle to eject. Why? Because it has filled with blood and it wants to send the blood to the lungs for oxygenation. Okay. So right ventricular ejection time will increase. Right ventricular ejection time will increase. Now this right ventricular ejection time, what will happen? Pulmonic valve closes late, or you can say delayed closure. Delayed closure. Fine. Delayed closure. And is the pulmonary vasculature also bringing less? Is the pulmonary vessel? Who is pulmonary vessel, sir? Who is pulmonary vessel? Who is pulmonary vessel? Pulmonary vessel. Pulmonary vessel is pulmonary circuit, isn't it? Isn't it decreasing the resistance? Isn't it decreasing the resistance so that it can let more blood to come? He says welcome. He says that blood welcome from the right ventricle. Welcome, welcome. I won't stop you. Welcome. Okay. So what will happen? Can I say physics? Can I use the word from physics? The pulmonary impedance has decreased. Pulmonary impedance has decreased. What do we mean by impedance has decreased? Means I am increasing the capability of the pulmonary circulation. I am increasing the capacitance. I am increasing the pulmonary circulation capacitance. So pulmonary capacity is increasing. There is increase in capacity of the pulmonary circulation. Pulmonary circulation. That is happening because of inspiration. That is happening because of inspiration. And that will also lead to delayed closure. Remember this chart. So two ways this is happening. One is that I am having a decreased intrathoracic pressure and I am having a decreased pulmonary impedance. This leads to the delayed closure of the pulmonary valve. This leads to the delayed closure of the pulmonary valve. Is it clear? Is physiological splitting clear? Can we go? What is the physiological splitting? Physiological splitting is A2, P2. A2, P2. Fine. A2, P2. Now, paradoxical splitting is the aortic valve is now closing late. That means something is causing the overload in the aorta. That means aortic space is narrow. The aortic valve is narrow. Now see, if this is my aortic valve, which is sending the blood from the left ventricle, if the space is so narrow, if the valve has become so narrow, it is allowing only little blood to pass. It is allowing only little blood to pass. That means I will take more time to empty. That means paradoxical splitting is the condition where I am having, first you should remember, a delayed aortic valve. For example, I have left bundle branch block, aortic stenosis. Fine. So who will come first now? P2. Who will come after that? A2. Is it clear? Now, once you are inspiring, now listen to me, guys. Guys, listen to me. Once I used to see. Now, in case of paradoxical, not normal, paradoxical. I'm talking paradoxical. See, in the paradoxical, P2 will close later and will move towards A2, true or false? Removing the split, no split. Why? Because I am at the same time increasing the venous return. I am increasing the venous return, and from opposite side, A2 is also having that same condition. A beautiful concept. Now see, venous return, decrease intrathoracic pressure. Decrease intrathoracic pressure led to decreased venous return. Decreased venous return lead to increased right ventricular filling. Right ventricular filling led to increased right ventricular stroke volume. It led to right ventricular ejection time. Delayed closure of the pulmonary valve. Now see, from the opposite side, what is happening? Normally, that is also happening in the left side. Why? Because you have a paradoxical splitting happening due to the late closure of the seminal valve due to any cause of left ventricular branch block or aortic stenosis. Stenosis means narrowing. There is narrowing of something. Stenosis. Okay. Will this split again be heard on expiration? In paradoxical splitting, yes, sir. In paradoxical splitting, I can hear the split. Is it fine? Have you understood the two opposite things? Now I have two terms also. I have two splits for you also. One is called wide splitting. What What is wide splitting? Wide splitting means I am having an exaggerated normal splitting. Normally you have split, isn't it? A2, P2, you have split. Split will increase in inspiration, isn't it? Are we clear? Isn't it? The split is normally increasing, normal in me. Now listen, I have wide splitting. What is wide splitting? I am having an exaggerated normal splitting. Okay. And pulmonic sound is delayed on inspiration. That means right ventricle is not empty. That means it is a right bundle branch block. So right bundle branch block will be showing wide splitting. Right bundle branch block will be showing wide splitting, but left ventricular bundle branch block will be showing paradoxical splitting. Okay, so wide splitting is seen in when the right ventricle is delaying its empty task. It's not emptying fast. It is allowing the empty to happen in a slower pace. So it will happen. That means I should have narrowing of pulmonary now. Now pulmonary stenosis. Pulmonary stenosis. Pulmonary stenosis. Or I can say RBBP. Right bundle branch block. Right bundle branch block. Okay. So once you tell the patient to inspire, what will happen? He will have an exaggerated on inspiration. He will have an exaggerated normal splitting. Exaggerated normal splitting. So wide splitting shown by pulmonic stenosis, right bundle branch block. Paradoxical splitting shown by aortic stenosis, left bundle branch block. Is it clear? Okay, so that means if normally what was happening, I was having an aortic valve, I was having an S1 sound, then what came? S2 has two parts, that is A2, P2. This is all what? S2. Now normally what was happening? I was having a delay. I was having a normal delay. This was a normal delay. Let me make it for you. This was a normal delay from the red. This is a normal delay. Normal delay. Now see, I'm going into paradoxical. Paradoxical, what is happening? Paradoxical, I'm having again that S1. Again S1, then S2. S2 has two components. But here I want to write P2A2, isn't it? Will I write P2A2 or not? Will I write P2A2 or not? But I want to make it more delay. So but I will be seeing in the paradoxical, I will be seeing P2 splitting occurring before A2. So A2 here. A2 here. Is clear? Okay. So P2 occurring before A2. Fine. Now going towards the wide splitting. What is wide splitting? Sir, more delay between A2, P2 normal. A2, P2 normal. In what? Where is what happened to this? Yeah. Okay. So in where is that? Where did we write? Where did we write? Yeah. Wide splitting means normally I have A2, but A2, P2 are too far. There is an abnormal delay. Now I have another splitting, that is fixed splitting. Fixed splitting. What happens in fixed splitting is, I tell you one thing. Okay, listen to me. These are my four chambers of the heart. Okay, now I have interatrial septum. And I have, this is interatrial septum. This is interventricular. So fixed splitting. What is fixed splitting? Fixed splitting means if I have these chambers, so what is happening is, if I have a hole here, if I have a hole in the in the interatrial septum, I have a hole. Just telling it simply for my first year people. So this is called ASD. What is ASD? Atrial septal defect. Atrial septal defect. atrial septal defect. If I have a defect in the septa, what will happen is, tell me one thing, which is having a high pressure. So left-sided are more of a high pressure, isn't it? So what will happen? The left blood will start going into the right side. Left to right shunt will start going. What is shunt? So in case of this atrial septal defect, what is happening is you are having a left to right shunt. A diversion is happening. Okay. So this left to right shunt is bringing, putting the blood into the more blood into the right atrium. More blood is going to the right atrium, increasing the right ventricular volume, increasing the flow to the right pulmonic valve, increasing the delay in the closure of the pulmonic valve closure. Are we able to understand? So whatever you do with the respiration, nothing will happen to this valve. You will be having this an independent. It is an independent pulmonic valve. It does not follow that rule of increasing or decreasing. Is it clear? So right side, this is what is happening is in the ASD. Am I audible, guys? So what is happening in the ASD, in the atrial septal defect, is that the L to R shunt, the L to R shunt is increasing. This L to R shunt is increasing, and L to R shunt is causing more blood flow to reach into the right atrium, to cause the right ventricular volume to increase, increasing the flow to the right this pulmonic valve, then leading to the delayed closure of the pulmonic valve. Delayed closure of the pulmonic. Are these all clear, guys? You should practice them at home. You should practice them at home many times. So how many splittings we read? Physiological splitting. What splitting is opposite to that? Paradoxical splitting. What is wide splitting? Same A2, P2, but there is more delay because right ventricle is not emptying. Fixed splitting means I have an ASD. I have an ASD, the left to right shunt is there, right atrial volume is increasing, right ventricular volume is increasing, leading to the increased blood flow through the pulmonic valve, increasing the time to delay, increasing the time to close, or I can say the delayed closure of the pulmonic valve. And this splitting is not affected by respiration. Please remember the fact. The fixed splitting is not affected by respiration. Okay. So in the next class, I want you people to bring a stat with you. Thank you very much. See you all tomorrow. Bye-bye.